33 lessons from a 33-year-old. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a slightly different style. It's one where I'm passing on my knowledge, my wisdom. I'm going to share with you the things that have molded me to become the man that I am today. So we're not necessarily talking about escaping the 9 to 5 and entrepreneurship, although it will tie into this, some of the lessons, but this is more about developing you as a person. And I've been through the good, the bad and the ugly. I've had my failures, I've been rejected, and I've had my successes, and I've just compiled all of this into 33 lessons, which I really do hope you take away, implement, so you can become wiser and make smarter choices and maybe avoid some of the pitfalls which, I fell down and made mistakes in. But before we do, let's state the obvious. Yes, I am sat here in my Harry Potter hoodie because it's getting colder, and I thought, do you know what? I love this hoodie. I sit at home, I do my work on my laptop. I'm going to record in it because why not? So before we get into this, I just want to show you the development of me as a person. So on screen will be photos from me when I was young, slowly growing up, all these different stages, right? And I've really evolved. And I think one of the defining factors for me changing and becoming a person, or going from a person who used to be quite selfish to someone who was selfless and growing up and developing true maturity, was at 20 years old, I had my son. I became a father very early on. I literally just turned 20. So I had to be smarter. I had to be wiser, and I had to put my energy in the right areas because I could have gone down a very different path. So I've compressed these into the lessons, and let's jump straight into it. Now, number one, no one cares. This is the harsh truth. And I've started with this one because I'm going to come across quite morbid in the thing that I'm about to say. So let's just do a test. If I was to pass away tomorrow and visit Jesus early, how many of you would lose sleep? Seriously and genuinely, how many of you would lose sleep? Well, the answer is probably none of you. You might think, oh, he did really good content and I liked watching his stuff, but you'd move on. And that's just the harsh reality. And I'm okay with that. And vice versa, right? If it was you, I would still go to sleep, right? The world keeps moving all the time. So we need to stop worrying as much. We need to stop overthinking what he or her thinks about us, or if they're going to judge us, or if they're going to have an opinion about what we do, because this is the truth. And you learn this more if you're someone who creates content, because you have this, I don't know if it's a blessing or a luxury, but you see mass comments coming in, especially if you're on all platforms, and you realize people only listen and engage if you're doing one of two things or both of them. You impact their lives or you make them money. Other than that, you might have a few trolls and a few haters that have got the odd comment, which, they don't really need to say, and they're just poking the bear and they're just saying nasty stuff to you. But other than that, the people who really matter, or acquaintances or potential customers, clients, people watching from afar, they'll only engage and follow you and listen to you and talk to you if they think they're going to get something from it. If they're not, they don't care. They don't care what you do, who you're with, where you're going, what food you eat. No one cares. That's the truth. People only care when they're getting something from you. And just learn that as soon as you can and accept it and be fine with it. Number two, don't take hate personally. Wherever you go, whatever you do, there's going to be someone who is ready to hate on you, troll on you, tell you you're not doing it right, criticize what you look like, try and pull you down from your journey to success. People who don't want you to do well. There's always going to be someone lurking in the corner who wants to, reflect their misery and insecurities on you. It is what it is. Don't take it personally. Develop thick skin, because there's a little trick that I want to pass on. In 100 years, none of us are going to be here. So what does it matter? If someone's trolling you online or leaving you a horrible comment or saying something about your appearance or gossiping behind your back at work, in 100 years, none of you are going to be here. Don't worry about it. Don't take hate personally. And if you can learn to develop that thick skin and be indifferent about it and compartmentalize, you're going to feel very free and you're going to feel empowered. So, just try and develop that. Does take, takes a little while to develop that. You've got to kind of take the punches and roll with it. But eventually, if you can get to a stage where you can become indifferent, it's an absolute blessing. Number three, ignore social media, because a lot of it is fabricated and a lot of it is lies. You need to look at social media and think, I don't know the whole story. Take everything with a pinch of salt. There's a lot of people out there who have got rich parents. So when you're watching someone who has the most incredible house, this perfect lounge, the fancy car, they're going on all these holidays, just take it with a pinch of salt. But there's also another message, which is in another lesson a little bit further down. Social media is very powerful in terms of feeding you what it thinks that you want. So don't linger on videos. Don't like stuff that you know is bad for you. If you're going to use social media, just use it to create, which again is another lesson we're going to come on to. Don't get sucked into it. because you don't know the full picture. Never compare yourself to what you see online. It's not worth it. Live in the moment, live your life. You cannot possibly sit there and compare yourself to someone you know nothing about. Number 5, cut off toxic people immediately. This is something I did very early on. People who weigh you down, are negative, who gossip, who talk about other people behind their backs, people who have nothing good to say, people who consume the news, people who live in a constant state of misery. It will weigh you down. It will hold you back from full potential. And having the ability to immediately cut off those who are no good for you will benefit you instantly. You'll feel purer. You'll feel more at ease. You'll feel that you can achieve more when you get rid of dead weight. You're not carrying baggage. And again, I did this in my early 20s, and I feel like I've really been able to make huge strides because I made the conscious decision that I was going to have a zero tolerance policy to anyone that was going to weigh me down. Online, in person. You know, I hit the block button, I don't know how many times a day. If I see anything that is negative or toxic, it's an instant block from me. I don't engage, I don't tolerate it, and I never will. And your life becomes so much better when you have zero tolerance to any type of negative people, online or in person. And I know, look, just final point on that. I know sometimes those toxic people and those real negative ones can be in the family. I think have a conversation with your family members, but ultimately a cutoff will need to happen no matter what. Number 6, and this is a big one, say no more. Put up boundaries and understand what you are willing to accept and what you're not. I have gotten to the point where I barely say yes for anything now. In fact, today on my Instagram, I literally put up a post which says, if you thought it was hard to get hold of me this year, wait until 2026. It will be nearly impossible to speak to me directly. I'll just show you that, right? I put that up on my Instagram stories. And the reason being is I only want to do things where there's a fair exchange for me. What's in it for me? And again, that is not selfish to say that. That is fair because I can't save time. I can't invest it. I can't make time. I can only spend it. So I want to make sure that whatever I'm doing or anything I'm agreeing to is going to benefit me and my family and the goals that I want to achieve. Again, don't feel that it's bad to say no to people, even if it is for meetups or occasions, whatever it is. If you don't want to do it, put your foot down and say no without feeling guilty. And there's nothing wrong with that in all aspects of your life, at work, personally, in a professional environment, whatever it is, be comfortable saying no. And I know too many people are people pleasers. Now, number 7, talk less, listen more. This is one that I learned in my last job. I think I really adopted this in my last job, is that there is so much power in being the last one to talk, especially in groups. So I've spoken about this briefly before, but when I would be in team meetings and there'd be 20, 30 people and they would do like a roundhouse where they'd say, has anyone got anything to say? And everyone's got something to say, right? Is that when it came to me, Aaron, have you got something to say? No, I pass on and it moves around the room and I hear everyone talk. And what that does is that puts me in a position of power that I've heard everyone's thoughts and opinions. And now I can decide, have I got any value to add? Or do I hold more power not saying anything? And you can apply that to any type of group that you're in. Prime example, I was up at my friend's cafe today having some food. There was a group of people in there. Everyone's loud, everyone's boisterous, who's got the bigger wang, and everyone's kind of throwing their weight about, and they were kind of leaning me to get involved in the conversation, and I just didn't get involved. I said hello to a couple of them, but that was it. I carried on eating my food and I was just listening. And I thought, this isn't my crowd. I have nothing to add here and they don't have anything to add to me. So silence is the winner. So sometimes just listening is far more effective than being the one that has everything to say. Now, number 8, never be the smartest in the room. This is really important to me, especially as someone who is in the entrepreneurial space and building businesses, is that there's no benefit of me being in a room that I'm not the smartest. I gain nothing. I want to be the dumbest person in the room because there's a great saying, if I want to run the fastest 100-meter sprint, I'm not going to run against tubby, slow people. I want to run against sprinters who are athletes, who are at the top of their levels, who are going to keep pushing me, because every time I race against a top athlete, I will run a 100-meter race the fastest I can because I'm being pushed to my limits. Same applies when you're learning or in the group that you're in. You know, I used to love my football, but in football, you can only be as good as your slowest man. You can't play a great 11 aside, if 10 of your, teammates are absolutely pants, you're going to look really bad. You can't carry a team of 10. So it's really, really important that you are conscious that if you are trying to develop yourself in any way, shape or form, physically, financially, personally, professionally, in any aspect, you have to be the dumbest person in the room. It's okay to add value to small groups every now and again, but if you're someone that is wanting to make those strides, make sure you are in rooms that are doing much greater things than you, and you will be pulled to a new level. Now, number 9, this is very cliche. We've all heard it, your network is your net worth. And I have to repeat this because it is totally true. It has got me to where I am today. I'm no good at academics. I was no good in school. I walked away with only a GCSE in PE. I didn't go to college and I didn't go to university. But one thing that I've done very well, and it's I suppose one of my key traits that I have, a skill set, is building great relationships and then nurturing them. The people that you know will take you places you never thought possible. It really is about who you know, not what you know. Although what you know is a benefit to hold certain conversations, but the people you know will open up doors and move you up that success ladder far quicker than you can on your own. For example, I'm on a Zoom call. My network is fantastic, but I've just made a brand new relationship with a guy who has just sold a company for 100 million. He's 36 years old. He's retired. And as some of you know who follow my vlogs, I'm building my first ever tech company in the logistics and distribution space with my business partner, Ben. We need to know how to build that company as fast as possible and position ourselves for an exit and to get it to the highest valuation possible. I now need to surround myself with people who have successfully sold tech companies. And I've built another great relationship with a guy who has sold a company for 100 million in the tech space. I'm going to learn, I'm going to nurture that relationship. And also I'm going to do something else in another lesson, which I'm going to share with you. Now, number 10, growth lives outside your comfort zone. This is really important for all of you. And this is something I have done from a very early age. I've had the confidence to do it. It was kind of instilled in me. I've never settled for comfort. It irritates me. I can't stand it. I don't like sitting still. I've got to be on the move. I've got to be pushing myself. I've got to be doing something that is challenging. Whether it's physical or mentally, the type of person that I am, I have to step outside my comfort zone. Otherwise, I feel like I'm wasting my life. And one thing I do want to pass on to all of you is that you will never truly know your potential if you are comfortable. Like when I work with people who are trying to escape their jobs, if they're comfortable in their job, they're paying the bills, their job doesn't freak them out, they don't hate it, but they don't really want to be doing it, and they're used to their salary, 99% of the time, they'll never escape their job. Because you have to be in such an uncomfortable position and fear something so much that you push yourself beyond limits that you were thought possible. So never get comfortable because you will not grow in any area of your life. Look at these people who go to the gym. I go to the gym sometimes and I look around me and I'm embarrassed, to be honest with you. People do one set and then they're sitting on their phones. You probably see it as well. And for 5 minutes at a time, they're having a break. That's comfort. And then they wonder why they're not shifting fat, not building muscle. Well, it's because you do 3 sets, but you've had a break of about 25 minutes in between. You've barely burned any calories, you've barely lifted any weight, and you're in this state of comfort. Your weight hasn't gone up, you've done no cardio or any sprints, you're walking on 2.5 speed on a 3 incline. It's comfort. Never get used to comfort. It's like, why don't I stay in bed every morning? I could stay in bed. Why do I get up freaking 5:15 every morning? Either I'm up at 5 or about 5:15, and then I'm in the gym for 5:30 or at least 5:45 every day. And I go to the gym pretty much twice a day. Why? Because I never want to lose my bite. I never want to become complacent. I never want to sit in a state of comfort, because that's when I stop growing. Number 11, embrace failure. Unfortunately, at school, we were told that failure is bad. It's not. Embrace failure. I love it. I love it when people say you can't do it. I know we hear the likes of Arnold, we hear the likes of these successful people, big players say they love failure. It is a common thing. Like, we love failure because it's just another way of how something couldn't be done, and we learn from it. And then you tweak things. Like, for example, when people have said to me, oh, I wouldn't build that business, or I wouldn't run an events company, it's a nightmare. I love it. I wouldn't want to do anything else. It's a challenge. I love it when we come up against hard times, because it means, again, I'm growing. I'm stepping outside my comfort zone. Failure is a must. It's an absolute must. So embrace it. Now, number 12, be inspired, not motivated. I personally don't believe in motivation. I feel like when people say, oh, I need to be motivated, it's like taking a pre-workout. It lasts 15 minutes. You watch a YouTube video that motivated you and then it dies off. Like, I don't want you to be motivated from this video. I want you to be inspired, because when you're inspired, you're more likely to go away and do something long term. But act upon it. That's the trick. Inspiration. If you're inspired, go and do one or two of those things. Like, from the lessons that you learned today, take 2 or 3 away. Don't worry about the full 33, because I'm sharing 33 because I'm 33 years old and everyone's going to take away their different lessons. But take away 2 or 3 and go and do them after this video. Be inspired, not motivated. Now, number 13, visualization works. I'm not a big believer in like a whole mood board and a vision board personally, and putting like pictures up and looking at them, just for me personally. But does visualizing something work, and saying to yourself, this is possible, I can do that, and then imagining what that looks like, because it's painting the picture and trying to bring that life of equilibrium, that good karma, that kind of, bringing it to you, right? That energy, and then going and doing it. Don't forget, you've got to do the thing. You can't just think about it. You've got to do the thing that needs to be done. But I do believe in visualization. So start seeing yourself where you want to be. Like, I know I want to sell the events company and I want to sell the tech company, and I know where I want my brand to be and my education company. I can see it. I can see the house that I want to retire in. I can see where I'm going to live. I can see it. So I just got to keep working towards it and doing the thing. Number 14, the abundance mindset. Embrace it. Opportunity is everywhere. Don't say there's not. The phone. This is abundance. We have this abundance of opportunity, information, resources, all in a phone. It's everywhere. So be open to all of it. Have the abundance mindset of it can be done, that things are possible. Number 15, hard work alone does not pay off, but working smart does. But here's the thing, I want to add something here. You only learn that smart work is the way to do things when you've done hard work and you realize it's not paid off. So people who yet don't believe that hard work isn't worth it have yet to go through working physically hard and realizing it doesn't pay off and it's not going to make you rich. Again, the donkey would own the farm if actual physical labor made you rich. But you have to go through that to learn that smart work is the way forward. Now, number 16, don't keep up with the Joneses, because the Joneses are broke. You have to stop living and looking like you're rich. Be humble in growth. Save your money, invest your money, live on less. Don't try and please other people by buying things, materialistic items, trying to paint a picture which isn't your reality, because it will keep you broke, it will hold you back. And ultimately, when we all go one day, right, and our graves are dug, it doesn't matter on your gravestone. No one's going to read owned a Lamborghini and a mansion. You're all in the ground. Doesn't matter. The man with 10 million in the bank who passes away, to the man who has 10,000, to the man who has £10. They're all in the ground. Doesn't matter. We came with nothing, we leave with nothing. But what you do want to use money for is for options, choices, travel, making memories, living life on your terms, not being a slave, building a life by design. That's what money can be used for. But don't spend money keeping up with the Joneses, because they're broke. Now, number 17, what wealthy really means. We've been lied to. Wealth doesn't mean the biggest house, the nicest car, owning the Rolex, flying to Dubai first class. It means, is your family healthy? Can you do things when you want? Or as my mentor would say, Jason Greystone, I love this one. Are you free in movement? Are you free in mind? Are you free in body? Are you free in choices? Are you free to say no without guilt? Can you go on holiday without asking permission? Do you have to request to book a day off? Can you do what you want with who you want, when you want, and where you want? Being free, living a life by design. That's what wealthy is. And being healthy. Looking around at your family and going, is everyone healthy? Has everyone eaten? Have we all got a roof over our heads? Are we happy? What's the point in having a massive house if there's no one in it? If there's no love and laughter? We have to really understand what actually matters in life, right? And what's important. Now, number 18, you don't need £10,000 a month. This is something that became very apparent to me in my 20s. My living expenses haven't gone up because I don't keep up with the Joneses. Me and my family, we live a very, very humble and frugal life. So yes, I make more and more money every year, but we don't need it. So you don't need £10,000 a month. That's just an expectation you've set yourself because of the corporate salary, because of ego, because of pride, because of showing off to people, keeping up with the Joneses, again, wanting to look the part. None of us need £10,000 a month. And if you say that you need £10,000 a month, well, you're living beyond your means, or you have a very expensive partner or children and very expensive habits. That's just my take on it. Some people would say I'm wrong, but that's my take. Number 19, value time above everything else. It's the one commodity that we cannot get back. I am so particular on who I spend time with, where and why. And just start thinking about, what do you get from giving away your time, which is why I talk about this so much in the 9 to 5. You give away 40 hours every week. And what have you really got to show for it? Seriously, what have you got to show for it? Are you rich? Do you go on holiday when you want? Do you own everything that you want? Have you traveled to all the countries? Have you swam all the oceans? Have you climbed all the mountains for the time that you've given? Because I know when I did 7.5 years in employment, what have I got to show for it? I learned that hard work doesn't pay off. I saved money. Did people become my best friends? No. Was I trodden over? Yeah. Was I thrown under a bus? Yeah. Was it corrupt and very political? Yeah. Was it a fair exchange? 40 hours a week for what I was paid, like £12.50 an hour? No. I'm worth more than £12.50 an hour, and I know that now. So be very particular on your time. Number 20. Health is wealth. Prioritize your health. Drink and eat clean. In here, I've got my BCAAs, I've got my creatine, my water, and I prioritize my health. I want to live as long as I can. I have a son, so I don't want to smoke. I've never done drugs. I don't drink. And the reason being is I want to live as long as possible. I want to be healthy. I want to be able to run a marathon when I'm 50. I want to be able to do a Tough Mudder at 65 years old with my son. I want to see my grandkids grow up. I want to be active, and I can, but I have to make sacrifices. I can't stuff my face with pizza all the time. I can have a cheat meal once every 9 days, but I'm willing to apply discipline because I've learned, again, this is why I'm sharing my lessons. I've listened to history. I've listened to many old people. What do they say? I wish I could have gone back. I wish I could have put the sun cream on to not get skin cancer. I wish I could have eaten cleaner. I wish I could have done this. I wish I could go back. I wish I could go back. I wish I could go back. Well, I am back. I'm here. I'm the youngest and fittest I'll ever be in my life, and I'm going to maintain it. So please look after your health. Number 21, educate every week and read one or listen to one book a week. You'll become very knowledgeable. I wasn't good in school, but I've listened to something like 196, 198 books now, and I feel incredibly wise. I've always hung around with older people who are very successful and knowledgeable, but I've sped that process up by also being very proactive and listening to books. Or in your case, maybe you like to read them, whatever it is. But read and educate yourself. It might be a podcast, whatever. Go to a networking event once a week, but educate yourself every single week. Imagine just doing 12 to 24 books a year. You'll become an incredibly intelligent person, and you'll have more opportunities because you'll be able to hold yourself that much better in rooms. Get yourself into places you didn't think were possible because you've adopted that abundance mindset and you've evolved. You've gone from Charmander to Charmeleon, right? Number 22, create more than you consume. Create. Do not consume and procrastinate watching other people's lives. Entrepreneurship, what is it? A creator. What's an innovator? Someone who created something. Don't consume mind-numbing content, doom scrolling. Create something daily. I did a video on this. If you create content for 12 months, you'd never have to work a job again. If you become an educator who commercializes yourself and positions yourself well, you never have to work a job again, ever. Number 23, turn off the news. My God, there is nothing good about the news. I'm going to keep this one very short and sweet. Turn it off. The radio and the TV, all propaganda, all lies. Turn it off. There's nothing you need to know. And it irritates the hell out of me when people go, oh, well, we need to know certain stuff. Like what? What on earth do you need to know on the news? Look, let me tell you this. The only thing you need to know is if there's a World War III, you'll hear the sirens. And then there'll be a big flash of light and that'll be it. And you'll know about it because it'll be popping up on the TV and your phone. Nothing else you need to know. I actually had someone say to me, oh, well, I need to know what's going on in the financial markets. I said, why, are you a trader? No. Well, why do you need to know? Well, it's just good to know. Like what? Look, number 24. There's no good news or bad news. I like this one. This is probably one of my favourite lessons. I was taught this by Simon Leslie, who's a very wise man, a friend of mine, and also my friend's dad. There's no such news as good or bad news. There's just news. It's how we react and respond to it. I love that one. It's got to be one of my favourites. My business partner rang me up the other day, Ben, for the tech company, and said, what do you want, the good or the bad news? And I said, I'm going to pass on a lesson to you. There's no good or bad news. It's just news. So tell me what it is, because it's how we respond with it. And he was like, oh, I love that. And we dealt with it. And it wasn't even that much of a problem. But our outlook was, it's just news. Let's be proactive about it. Now, number 25, fill up other people's buckets before you take from theirs. Again, this ties into building your network. Offer people things before you take from them. Gary V, give, get. Alex Mosey, jab, right hook. Number 26, value creates income. So as a content creator, I have learned the more value I give for free, the more I make. It's just the way it works. And I operate on a 90-10 rule. I give 90% of content and information and advice away for free. And 10% is a subtle ask or a call to action somewhere. But that 10% pays me the worth of my 90%, which I give away for free. But deliver in that ratio, either an 80-20 or a 90-10. Everything that I do is upfront work with no guarantees that I'm going to get in return, but just knowing that I'm offering so much value that people will pay for implementation. And I think that's a great lesson to learn, is that be prepared to do something for free with no expectation, but knowing that if you keep delivering and showing up every day, that the compound effect will come back in waves in terms of how much you can earn. A lot of people struggle with that, but it's the truth. If you offer lots of stuff for free, you'll get paid very well. Now, number 27, purpose over pleasure. I have learned that if you do not have purpose, and I've seen this with many people, many friends, many personal relationships, I've seen it in professional relationships. If there isn't a sort of a centralized purpose that you're aiming towards or pursuing, you seek pleasure, you're distracted. And that's why a lot of people in their 30s and 40s are going through this midlife crisis, because they lack purpose. They don't know their why. They don't know what they're doing. They feel demotivated. They don't enjoy their career. They've done something for years, and now they just feel, again, the word is lost. Now, it's very common nowadays, but it's because they don't have purpose. They're not striving for something that's bigger than them. And again, I think for me, building a business, because it satisfies so many of my needs, it challenges me, it pushes me out or forces me outside my comfort zone. It tests me mentally and physically. I have this huge, almost 360 of purpose in my life, because I'm challenged from all different sides and I love it. So I'm constantly aiming towards something that I want, and it kind of never really ends. The goalpost always moves. So I've not yet got to a point where I'm like, oh, I've stopped and now I feel lost, because I'm very clear on my why. I'm very clear again on the visualization of what I want. And I feel so many people are lacking that, and that's why they seek pleasure. And that's very important for a man, by the way. Number 28, forgive, but don't forget. This one's really important for me. I have learnt to forgive and move on. I've learnt to forgive people who have hated on me, who have judged me, who didn't want me to do well, but I don't forget. It's really important to forgive so that you can move on and operate with peace and no resentment and no hate, because that can really hold you back and that can make you quite bitter. And again, that can affect your personal outcome, that can affect your performance. But it's important not to forget. When someone treads over me or they screw me over once, boy, you better believe it, I don't forget. And that relationship will not be reformed. But I can forgive and I can move on for my sake. Number 29, loyalty in the workplace does not exist. I promise you. I'm not going to dive into this one because I've done many videos on it. Co-workers are not your friends. The system is rigged against you. There is nothing within the workplace that is for you. You are there exchanging your time. You're going to get paid and it's going to be against you. And it's all for the company. Do not be foolish. And people tend to not believe me because they haven't yet learned. They haven't been thrown under the bus. They haven't been burnt yet. But time in the market, in the job, you'll learn soon enough that there is no loyalty in the corporate world. Now, number 30, it's never too late. I have a lot of people say to me, Aaron, is it too late to start something? It's never too late. It just means that your runway is shorter. You have to be more aggressive. You have to calculate your takeoff. You have to manage your time that much better. You have to manage your finances that much better. Your decisions have to be sharper, quicker. They have to be very, very calculated. Your moves have to be calculated. As you get older, even down to your, your physical self, you're going to get tired earlier. If you haven't looked after your body and now you want to start, and I'm even talking about, if you're a bit overweight, but you want to change your life, it's going to be harder, to take off. It's going to be a little bit sluggish, but it's not too late. You just have to be very, very intentional with your moves. It's never too late. Number 31, travel more. As you get older, and this is really, really important to me now, it is about swimming in oceans and climbing mountains. There's all these countries, there's all these beautiful places around the world. There is no chance I'm going to be restricted to one area, and I'm not going to put myself in a financial position where I can't travel. It is so important. And I feel like I had a light bulb moment this year in 2025. We went on quite a few holidays this year, and I'm just about to jet off to Disney again. We go every year to Disney, literally in a couple of weeks. I refuse to put myself in a position where I cannot take my family all around the world, because I am here to experience things. That's why I bang this, I beat this drum about getting out the 9 to 5, because there is so much to see. And for me, with my son, I want him to see as much of the world as possible with me laughing and joking and running about with him and throwing him in the oceans and, getting on the jet skis and just climbing mountains and getting on the mountain bikes and going on the quad bikes and doing this and doing that. I want to be there and witness him seeing all these incredible things. It's not about climbing corporate ladders. It's about climbing mountains all around the world. Number 32, spend more time with your family and tell them you love them more. Because one day, the people that you love, they're not going to be here. And prime example, I always go around and see my parents as much as I can. On the way to the gym, nip in, all right, mum, right, dad. I go and spend time with them. I tell them that I love them. You know, me and my dad, we have a weird way of ending a phone call. We're, he's a manly guy. And I'm like, when we end the phone call with my dad, I'm like, we've got this code and we both know what we mean. And it's, all right, well, I'll see you later. Yeah, love. Yeah, bye-bye. That's us saying, I love you. You know, it's a bit different for a man and he's old school, Whereas with my son, our son, we tell him we love him all the time. But, if you were born in the 90s like I was, your parents, we didn't say it so much. Like my parents didn't say, I love you all the time. But I'm aware of that. So I always want to meet up with my parents, go out for meals with them, take them places. I'm very blessed that I get to take them away at Christmas. And I love doing that. And it's a real joy for me to take my parents away. Spend more time with your family because one day you'll kick yourself and you will realize you took them for granted and you didn't spend enough time with them. You spent too much time at work. You spent too much time in your own head doing your things and you didn't acknowledge the people that brought you into this life or, whoever your loved ones are. Ring them up and tell them you love them more, and all go out for a meal more. That's just one personally from me. Finally, it's been a long video. Number 33, move in silence. This is one of my favorite quotes. A lion doesn't roar before the hunt. A lion roars after the kill. Protect what you're doing. Don't tell people your big moves. Frank Sinatra says, the best form of revenge is success. Do the thing that you want to do and let everyone see the results. Don't go screaming about the things that you're going to do before you've done it, because there will be people out there, snakes, who will try and pull you down. They won't want you to do it because they can't. So they don't want you to do it. Move in silence. Get the work done and then show them the results. Because once it's done, they can't do anything about it. Once you've hit your goals and you've hit your targets and you've been successful, they can't change it. It's already done. They're just going to hate. And again, it's part of life. So look, this has been a long video. I really hope for those of you that are still here, you took a lot away from this. And again, just 1, 2, 3 things, not the whole 33. I would love to know what resonated with you most, apart from the Harry Potter hoodie. And if you are a Harry Potter fan, let me know. What's your favourite one? My favourite one is The Prisoner of Azkaban. Absolutely love that one. I love the film. I love the book. I've read the book like 3 times and God knows how many times I've watched the film. I've even got the game on Xbox, the Hogwarts. Anyway, rambling now. Look, until the next video, please do like and subscribe. And to all of you, have a great week. I will see you in the next video. Peace out.